What if Deku couldn't feel pain? In part 2 of this wild Deku x Harem saga, things get even crazier as his power and relationships take a surprising turn. All Might, I knew something bad was happening. That's why I left the conversation with my beloved niece and came straight here. I met young Ita on the way and he told me that everyone was fighting to protect themselves. I'm proud of you. But everything is okay now. Because I'm here. He said very angrily while tearing off his tie. Most of the students were very relieved and some were crying with joy. Izuku, All Might has stopped smiling. Tomura, ha ha ha, you finally arrived. Damn scum of society. He said looking directly at All Might. Villain 1, this that All Might? Villain 2, he looks much scarier in person. Villain 3, don't be afraid. We are more than him. We can win. He didn't finish the sentence as All Might and a trail of light knocked out each and every one of them, disappearing from everyone's sight, until he was next to Aizawa. Aizawa, always late Yagi. All Might, sorry Aizawa-kun. Aizawa, it's fine. After all, it's part of your essence as the number one hero. Aizawa walked away from there along with Katsuki leaving All Might in front of the villains. Nomu also focused his attention on him leaving the way clear for the boys. Izuku offers his hand to Tsuyu. Let's get out of here. Tsuyu, thank you Midoriya-chan. She said taking his hand with a small blush. Izuku escaped from there along with Mineta and Tsuyu. Tsuyu, I was so scared. I thought he was going to kill me. Karo, thanks Midoriya-chan. Izuku, you are welcome. He said looking straight into her eyes, which Tsuyu couldn't stop looking at with a noticeable blush. Tsuyu felt her heart beat rapidly and remembered the moment when he saved her from Tomura and protected her from Nomu, making him look very heroic, like a prince protecting his beloved, but then the moment was interrupted by the dwarf. Mineta, ahem. Yes, thanks for saving us Midoriya. You're not going to take my frog away from me, Midoriya. I touched it first, he thought with tears of anger. Tsuyu, speaking of which. Mineta-chan. Why did the water suddenly get hot when the villain approached us? Mineta, huh? He said very nervously trying to come up with an excuse. Tsuyu, I'm going to take a long shower when I get home. The three arrived with Aizawa and Katsuki who were watching All Might in front of the three villains. Aizawa, are you okay? Tsuyu, we're fine. Midoriya-chan protected us. Karo, she said a little blushed. Aizawa, fine. All Might will take care of them. You guys stay back, he's already saved. Tsuyu, why did I get like this for Midoriya-chan? My heart started beating really fast when he looked into my eyes. Why was that? Could it be because he saved me? She thought a little nervously. Everyone started looking at All Might, then he flew towards Tomura with his arms in an X. All Might, Carolina. Tomura, Nomu. All Might, smash. He said giving a powerful X blow to Nomu who protected Tomura, in that All Might hit him creating a large gust of air, but he didn't even flinch. All Might gave him another blow and another but the same result. All Might, not even on the face? Tomura, haha no. Your simple punches can't do anything to Nomu. Part of that is because of his quirk. Shock absorption. Isn't that great? Nomu was created to kill you and withstand your 100%. The only way to kill him is to tear his flesh out by the roots. All Might, haha. Well, I'm glad you said it. He said, preparing his back. All Might was planning on suplexing Nomu, but was interrupted by a black-haired man who pushed him. Aizawa, Midoriya. Stop disobeying my orders. Tomura, hey. Don't delay his inevitable death. He said looking at the black-haired man. All Might, Midoriya Shonen? Izuku, don't do it All Might. His next move was a suplex, right? All Might, yes, that was my plan. Izuku, see that fog over there? He said pointing at Kurogiri. It's a portal. If he had suplexed Nomu, he could have created a portal underneath him, to make Nomu come out through his back and stick his fingers in his weak spot. That's why I avoided it. If you get hurt your time will be reduced a lot more. All Might was impressed by the young man's great analytical skills. All Might, what a sense of analysis you have, Midoriya Shonen. You left me impressed. Thanks, he said with his characteristic smile. Tomura, have you finished your strategy or what? Nomu. Go for it. He said pointing at All Might. At that, Nomu charged at high speed towards All Might, who couldn't dodge it. All Might, sorry Midoriya Shonen. At that, being so close, All Might grabbed Izuku by the arm and then hit Nomu with tremendous force, sending him flying several meters. Tomura, Nomu. All Might, hey. You're a good weapon, Midoriya Shonen. Let me use you. He said with a bigger smile than usual. Izuku, Nani? At that, All Might grabbed Izuku by both legs to hold him like a bat, leaving everyone confused. Katsuki, what the hell is he doing with Deku? Aizawa, damn. That idiot. He said annoyed. After that All Might shot towards Nomu and he did the same. All Might, improvised attack, indestructible smash. He said hitting Nomu on the head with Izuku as if he were a bat, causing Nomu to fly around and then crash into a mountain which was destroyed. All Might, home run. He said lifting Izuku like a bat. Tomura, is that idiot really the symbol of peace? I ask about the weird way of attacking. Just like everyone in USJ who was completely stunned by All Might's action. All Might, how is Midoriya Shonen? Izuku, at _it I wanna sleep more. Mommy, there are no classes today. He said completely dizzy. All Might, oops. I think just because you're indestructible doesn't mean you can get dizzy. He said, letting go of Izuku and leaving him on the floor. All Might, rest. You did well. Now I have a battle to win. He said and then flew towards Nomu, who recovered from the blow, and both clashed fists, creating a shockwave that made everyone around them move away. Tomura, hey. I told you it'll absorb all your attacks. All Might, so what? He said and then continued hitting Nomu and then started a battle of very fast blows, creating a tornado. Kurogiri, I can't even get close. At that, Aizawa grabbed Izuku with his cloths to bring him to where they were. Tsuyu, Midoriya-chan. She said worriedly. Aizawa, Midoriya. What's wrong with you? Izuku, that was the most wonderful experience of my entire life. At that, Izuku stood up, watching All Might and Nomu fight with punches up close. Izuku, they attack each other with bare fists. All Might, if it's shock absorption and not nullification. Izuku, then there must be a limit. All Might, they say they can handle my 100%. Then I'll make you go beyond that. All Might began to hit him much faster, making him retreat. In that, Nomu hit him right in his wound, which made him spit blood, but despite that he continued hitting. Izuku, All Might. He's using more than 100% of his power, he thought while watching their fight. In that, All Might hit Nomu, making it knock down several trees. All Might jumped high and then fell on it, giving another blow to its abdomen, destroying a large part of the floor they were on. All Might, a hero. Always overcomes adversity. At that, All Might grabbed Nomu by the arm, putting him in a key and then throwing him with great force to the ground. All Might landed right in front of him. All Might, hey villains. Have you heard these words? Several lights began to appear and ended in his fist. All Might, 100%. He said while his fist is wrapped in a tornado. All Might, go beyond the limit. Plus ultra. He said and then punched Nomu in the stomach. All Might, Detroit Smash. He shouted as he hit Nomu, sending him flying fiercely towards the roof of USJ, which he pierced, creating an earthquake and then dispersing the clouds in front of him. Those present couldn't stop looking at the hole in the roof, impressed by what they had just seen. Izuku, it seems like something out of a comic. All Might's strength. It is undoubtedly insurmountable. He said, observing the hole that Nomu left in the ceiling. Katsuki, he hit him with a direct attack. It was much stronger than the previous blows. Aizawa, this is the world of professionals, my children. Learn from him. The so-called symbol of peace. Number 1 hero. All Might. The smoke finally dissipated, revealing All Might, quite tired, with a little blood coming out of his mouth. All Might, I've become very weak. In my best state. 5 hits would have been enough. Maybe only 3 if I used Midoriya Shonen as a weapon. But I gave him more than 150 hits, ha ha ha. He said, laughing proudly. Tomura was very angry watching the hole where his Nomu flew out. Tomura, wretch. He said very angrily, looking at All Might. Tomura, Nomu had to kill you. You weren't supposed to beat him. If it weren't for that, damn. He said while watching Izuku from afar. All Might, hey villains. I'm sure we all want this to be over as quickly as possible. Aizawa stood next to All Might, ready to defend himself. Aizawa, well done Yagi. I'll talk to you later about using my student as a weapon. All Might, ha ha. Midoriya Shonen has an extraordinary quirk. Tomura, damn it. At that, Tomura ran off very angry towards them too. Kurogiri, Shigaraki Tomura. Tomura, I'm going to blow you both to blind. Aizawa threw his webs to catch him, but they were intercepted by a portal that made them come out the other way. Kurogiri, Shigaraki Tomura. It's over, we've lost, we no longer have Nomu, the subordinates are unconscious, and there are 2 heroes in front of us. If we stay, the other heroes will arrive and we'll have no escape. Then we have to retreat. Tomura, you're right. But then All Might flew towards them. All Might, Texas Smash. He said, giving a blow creating an enormous air pressure, but Tomura dodged it, thanks to a Kurogiri portal. Tomura, calm down, symbol of peace. Next time we meet. It'll be when I kill you. See you next time, heroes. He said and then escaped through a portal with Kurogiri, leaving the heroes. Meanwhile in a bar the portal appeared along with Tomura. Tomura, damn it. Sensei. You said Nomu would take down All Might. You said he'd withstand his 100%. Tomura said, frustrated to a television that only had audio. I didn't say Tomura would defeat him, I said there was a chance. Who do you think you were facing? But I don't get it. They came too fast. Nomu should have at least injured him badly. Tomura, he barely did anything to him. If it weren't for that damn kid, I definitely would have killed him. Which Tomura child? At that, Tomura realized something. Tomura, sensei. You have to get that kid's quirk. Tell me, which child and which Dawn are you talking about? Tomura, I heard that his name is Midoriya. And his quirk makes him immortal. After that, Tomura proceeded to explain about the black-haired boy's quirk. Meanwhile, the other heroes arrived at USJ along with the police. There were not many injured except for 13 who came out a little damaged, but apart from her all the students were very well. After a busy day the students finally returned to their academy. Sero, it was very stressful. Kaminari, I thought we were going to die. Kirishima, you two were amazing. You make an excellent team. He said excitedly to Katsuki and Izuku. Katsuki, we're not a team of shitty hairs. Mineta, it was amazing when All Might grabbed Midoriya like a bat and gave him a tremendous punch. He said, imitating the movements. Katsuki, that was the only part I liked. Izuku, the only thing Kachan likes about me is when I'm used as a toy. Uraka, but you were amazing Deku-kun. Tsuyu, Karo, you were very heroic and you helped All Might. And you saved me. Thank you very much, she said, blushing. Izuku, you're welcome Tsuyu. Uraka. Meanwhile, we can see All Might in his civilian form sitting on a bed in the infirmary, accompanied by Recovery Girl. All Might, sigh, I think my time got reduced. To about 2 hours tops. RG, that's bad. But at least it wasn't that bad. If Midoriya hadn't helped you, you'd probably be worse off. All Might, yes. I'm very grateful to him. I still can't believe he'd reject One for All. RG, but if I hadn't rejected him, you wouldn't have seen your little girl smile again. All Might, yes. She's also dreamed of being a hero since she was little. But her heart broke when she found out she didn't have a quirk. RG, hey. Rest assured All Might. That the new generation of heroes will be one of the best. He said with a smile. All Might, yes. I'm very sure of that. He said, smiling too. After the USJ incident, UA temporarily closed to recover from the shock, but a few days later it reopened and students returned for a new day of classes. Aizawa informed his students that UA's annual sports festival was approaching, which made everyone get excited together, but the next day all the first-year courses gathered to see Class A. Uraka, what's happening? I asked, impressed when I saw so many classes in front of the door. Mineta, hey. We can't get out. Ida, what do you need from Class 1A? At that, the black-haired man stood in front of everyone with his usual expression.
Izuku, I am the representative of Class A, I am Midoriya Izuku.
What do you need? Some boys were scared because of the black-haired boy's appearance and seriousness, and his resemblance to Aizawa made him even more terrifying, but a gray-haired boy came out screaming. Oi! I'm from Class B. I'm Tetsu. He said, standing face to face with Izuku. Tetsu, you guys are the class that was attacked by villains, right? You're that guy All Might used as a bat. It was amazing, but you can't beat me. At the sports festival I'll show you I'm tougher. He said challengingly. Kirishima, what do I see? A rival? Tetsu, shut up for a moment, said an orange-haired girl passing in front accompanied by a black-haired girl. Kendo, hello Midoriya-kun, nice to meet you, I'm the representative of Class B, Itsuka, Kendo said with a smile. Yui, I am the subdelegate. Yui Kodai. she said with a very serious and neutral expression. Izuku, I saw you guys before. Especially you. He said looking at Yui. Yui, you seemed a little interesting to me. That's why I wanted to save your face in my memory. What is your quirk? I asked, maintaining my neutral attitude similar to Izuku's. Izuku was about to answer but was interrupted by his blonde friend. Katsuki, as expected. They study the enemy before the sports festival. If after all this class could withstand the attack of some villains. How annoying. Out of the way extras. He said in front of everyone. Ida, Bakugo-kun. Stop calling everyone extras just because you don't know them. He said shaking his arm. Tetsu, ah? How dare you call us that? He said quite angrily. Wow. I came just to find out what the hero course was like. I'm from General Studies. Hitoshi Shinso. Said a rebellious purple-haired boy in front of everyone. Shinso, you're the one who came in first in the entrance exam, aren't you? Did you also know that there are general classes? I asked Katsuki. Katsuki, TSK. Katsuki just walked past him saying that it doesn't matter who hates him as long as they stay on top. The days passed quickly and the day of the sports festival arrived. Mount Lady, I was always excited about the UA Sports Festival, watching it every year on TV when I was little. He said walking with his companions Death Arms and Kamui Woods on the way to the festival stadium. Kamui, but we won't have much of a chance to see it this time. Death, yes, we are paid just to watch the stadium. So don't get distracted you. He said and then noticed that Mount Lady disappeared. Kamui, now where did he go? Then they both saw her at a food stand. Mount Lady, excuse me sir, a tray of takoyakis she said with a big smile. Seller, takoyakis? Right away. A tray, right? Mount Lady, sippy. Kamui, hey. He said trying to get his attention. Salesperson, it will be 1,500 yen, miss. Mount Lady, oh. I don't have much money now. What a pity. I really wanted takoyakis. She said, pretending to be helpless. Salesman, how beautiful. Take them, it's on the house. Mount Lady, thank you. Kamui/Death, what a scoundrel. They said at the same time. Meanwhile in the student locker rooms, they were putting on their sports suits, prepared and ready to stand out at the festival. Mina, I wanted to be able to wear my heroine costume. Ojiro, suits are forbidden because they help our gifts, that would be cheating. Sero, and the sports suit gives everyone the same status. But then, Izuku opened the door. Izuku, guys, the sports festival is about to begin. I hope you're ready. Let's give it our best. All, yes, delegate. They said excitedly, even though Izuku's tone of voice is always dull, his words inspired them quite a bit, but then a half and half approached Izuku. Todoroki, Midoriya. Izuku, Todoroki. What's wrong? Todoroki. A small silence was created between them. Todoroki, seeing things clearly. I think I'm stronger than you. Izuku, aha. Todoroki, I don't care if your quirk makes you invincible. But I will beat you. Rest assured. He said very seriously. Some in the class took it seriously, others mentally mocked such a statement to a boy they considered invincible, and only one of them glared at the half and half. Kirishima, hey, we're about to enter, don't fight suddenly. Todoroki, I'm not here to make friends. I don't see the problem. He said and then walked away. Izuku, hey Todoroki. Todoroki stopped and turned to look at him. Izuku, rest assured. I'll give it my all too. He said exactly the same thing but in his words you can hear the determination. After. P-Mike, hello. I shout causing several giant torches to light up around the stadium. P-Mike, please welcome the students WHO withstood a villain attack with their hearts of steel. Class 1A. I shout as the students of Class A entered the stadium, and were greeted by a huge cheer from the audience. Once inside, Present Mike began to introduce the other first-year courses, from Class B to K. P-Mike, now that all the first-year classes are here, we have a little surprise for you. An extra guest WHO just transferred to UA. Quite close to All Might. Coming from abroad, direct from the United States. Let's give a loud applause to the daughter of the famous inventor David Shield. Melissa Shield. 19. She said as she entered the stadium, a blonde with glasses and blue eyes, wearing the UA sports suit, being received by a great ovation from the public, making her a little nervous. Melissa, I'm here. Watch me, Uncle Might. P. Mike, now that everyone's here. It's time to start the sports festival. And I, present Mike, will be your commentator along with my good friend Eraserhead. Any comments, Eraser? Aizawa, you forced me to come. P. Mike, what a wise comment, brother. And our referee will be none more and none less than I. Said a black-haired heroine whipping a small whip, wearing a very tight suit highlighting her good curves. Midnight, I am your heroine plus 18 Midnight, I will be the referee of the sports festival this year. Said licking her lips in a lascivious manner making several boys and male spectators' hormones churn. Midnight, before we begin, let's hear a few words from the hero class delegates. Representing Class B, Itsuka Kendo. And representing Class A, Midoriya Izuku. Come up and say a few words. Both boys went up on stage, Itsuka with a smile but Izuku with the same expression, both standing in front of the microphones. Was that guy the one who came second in the entrance exam? He seems very confident. Melissa, is he the class president? The blonde asked the frog girl. Tsuyu, yes Karo, it's Midoriya Izuku, our delegate, she said a little blushing while looking at Izuku. Kaminari, hey. You're new, right? I asked the blonde with a big smile. Kendo, well. Said from the microphone. Kendo, I hope we have a friendly and fair competition, let's give our best effort in this festival. Class B, yes Kendo. Class B shouts with enthusiasm. Izuku, well. I'm not one to give speeches. But I'm a delegate for a reason. I hope everyone gives their best in this sports festival, we're all here for a reason. Although not all of us have the same opportunities. We still belong to UA. I'll do my best and I hope you all do too. Always remember to go beyond your limits. Plus Ultra, the black-haired man finished by raising his fist. Class A, Ultra A. Class A shouts inspired by their delegate's words. The brunette from Class B couldn't stop looking at him with some admiration for his words, while these two get off the small stage and go with their groups. Yui, Midoriya is great. Once they finished, Midnight chose the first game, which was an obstacle course. All the courses were placed at the starting line. The foreign blonde was very determined to pass the race. Melissa, I'll do my best, Uncle Might. I'll show everyone that I'm here. Just then, the 3 lights at the door went out, starting the race, causing all the students to run away. P. Mike, and the UA Sports Festival has begun. We're starting with an obstacle course. Any comments, Eraser? Aizawa, Let's see how they get through the first obstacle. He said, observing all the students stuck in the exit tunnel, pushing each other trying to get out. Among them was the black-haired boy trying to avoid the ground. Izuku, surely Todoroki is thinking of freezing the ground to prevent everyone from moving forward. If my calculations are correct. It will happen in 3, 2, 1. And then, just as he finished counting, the entire ground around him froze, trapping most of the classes, except for the black-haired boy who was able to avoid the ice in time. The half and half ran out of the tunnel, freezing the entire floor around him, but he was chased by the black-haired boy who was skating on the ice very easily. P. Mike, wow. Todoroki Shoto from Class A takes the lead, freezing everything in his path. Being chased by his deputy Midoriya Izuku. Who would think he can skate so well? Izuku continued skating on the ice, but an explosion accompanied by several sounds interrupted them. Katsuki, Deku. Don't get ahead of me. He shouts angrily, propelling himself with his explosions. Following this, the rest of Class A came out, as well as some from Class B and other courses. Ojiro, you won't catch me with that again, Todoroki. He said, jumping with his tail. Mina, watch out. She said, secreting acid from her feet which she used to move. Todoroki kept running, being chased by the black-haired boy, but the dwarf Mineta managed to catch up with them by jumping on their balls. Mineta, haha. Get ready for my finishing move, Todoroki. But before doing anything else he was hit by a giant robotic hand, which made everyone stand still. In front of them were 4 robots with 0 points from the entrance exam, as well as an army of robots with 3 points. Todoroki, is this? P. Mike, oh yeah. We've reached the first barrier. I call it hell robbery. Screams with excitement. Denki, are those the 0-point robots from the entrance exam? Momo, where do they get the money for this? Todoroki, were these robots used in the entrance exam? But before he could say anything else, he was overtaken by a black-haired man who continued running as if nothing was in front of him. Izuku, this doesn't affect me in the slightest. P. Mike, Midoriya Izuku passes through the barrier as if it's nothing. Extra 1, is that kid crazy? Extra 2, they're going to kill him. But in that, while Izuku was running, he was hit by 2 small robots whose arms were badly damaged and explored through the short circuit, leaving everyone completely impressed, as well as the students from the other courses, in that he was crushed by the foot of a 0 points that made everyone horrified. But the moment he lifted his foot, Izuku ran off as if nothing had happened to him, this time leaving each and every one who saw the festival with their mouths open. P. Mike, Midoriya has passed the first barrier as if it was nothing. Aizawa, Midoriya's quirk is one of the most impressive I've ever seen. I'm glad he's in my class. Without wasting any more time, Todoroki launched an incredible ice attack that completely froze the enemy to 0 points, then ran off chasing Midoriya. To this, Katsuki also joined in, quite angrily flying with his explosions until he could reach them. Katsuki, come back here. Damn phenomenon. Screams, propelling himself with explosions. P. Mike, Midoriya Izuku is in the lead. P. Mook, Midoriya Izuku remains at the front while being chased by Todoroki Shoto and Bakugo Katsuki. Izuku kept running while Katsuki and Todoroki were hot on his heels. Izuku, they're speeding up, he said, running, turning to look at them. At the first barrier the other participants followed. Kaminari, how lucky is Midoriya? He can walk anywhere without fear of getting hurt. Kirishima, I can do it too, he said, running through the barrier with his quirk activated. Tetsu, don't get ahead of yourself, bastard, he also said with his quirk activated. P. Mike, Kirishima from Class A and Tetsu from Class B run between the barrier. Kirishima, your quirk is a copy of mine. Tetsu, no. Your quirk is a copy of mine. The rest of Class A and B joined in, using their gifts to get through the robot barrier as best they could. Melissa, one for all, full cowling 5%. He said as red marks appeared all over his body and he began to generate golden rays, then ran to a robot. Melissa, smash, she said, hitting the robot, creating an air pressure that completely destroyed it. Sero, wow. The foreigner is strong, he said, jumping on the robots with his headband. P. Mike, Melissa shield passes through the barrier. She's a strong girl. The rest of the classes passed the barrier luckily. Meanwhile, Izuku kept running until he reached the second obstacle and made it stop. Izuku, what is this? P. Mike, Midoriya Izuku has reached the second obstacle. The fall. If you fall, you're out. Izuku, when were they able to build all this? He said, observing the canyon with many holes. But before he could continue speaking, he was overtaken by Todoroki. Todoroki, I told you I would beat you, he said, and then began to slide on ice on one of the ropes, passing through the canyon very easily. P. Mike, Todoroki Shoto steals the lead from Midoriya. Izuku was thinking about what he would do. But suddenly he was also overtaken by explosions of a hysterical ash blonde. Katsuki, fall to the bottom of this canyon. And stay there like the rat you are. Screams and then chases Todoroki with explosions. The other students arrived and began to pass through the canyon, leaving Izuku behind. Uraka, good luck Deku-kun, he said, and then began to float over the canyon with his gift. Tsuyu, I hope you pass Midoriya-chan Karo, she said, jumping towards one of the ropes to start moving. Izuku, I don't have any jumping skills or speed like them. Damn, I'll have to cross the ropes, he thought, then began to move slowly along one of the ropes, holding on pretty firmly to avoid falling, but then. Ida, I won't allow myself to be made a fool of while my brother watches, he said before propelling himself with his turbines through one of the ropes. At that point, a pink-haired girl also used a harness to get through the canyon. Izuku, at this rate I'll be last, he thought while moving slowly along the rope. Melissa, 5%. He said, and then began to jump from rock to rock quickly with his power. Izuku, that foreigner is strong and fast, he thought while watching Melissa jump. Once everyone passed the canyon, Todoroki, who was in first place, reached the third obstacle, which was a minefield. Everyone began to walk slowly, trying not to detonate any, but Bakugo caught up with Todoroki with explosions and they began to fight for first place. Izuku had finally passed the canyon and reached the third obstacle. P. Mike, we've reached the third hurdle. And poor Midoriya from first place drops 50 places. What will the expressionless boy do to get back in the lead? Many passed through the field carefully and slowly. Meanwhile, Izuku was still at the beginning, being overtaken by many who were looking at him strangely. Izuku, a minefield? I have an idea. They are mines used in games. They are not very powerful, but they serve to make a person fly. If many gather in a single point, and they are all activated at the same time, the shock wave will be much bigger, he said in his mind, and then began to remove the mines from the ground with his hands. Izuku began to accumulate many mines in a single point, being careful not to activate them with his hands. Izuku, okay. I'll borrow your idea, Kachan. He said, and then fell on top of the mines, creating a huge pink explosion that caught everyone's attention. Mike, wow. A huge explosion behind everything. Who would have been responsible for such a commotion? From the smoke, the black-haired man flew through the air and overtook all the participants, taking first place. Izuku, Fumsu. Mike, Midoriya. Izuku used that big explosion as a momentum to overtake his opponents. Was it intentional or an accident? At that, Katsuki tried to reach him with explosions. Katsuki, Deku, screams angrily. Todoroki created an ice path to run and try to catch up with him, but while he was in the air, Izuku used his momentum to fall faster and fall on top of more mines, causing them to explode to give him more momentum and run towards the stadium. Mike, Midoriya. Izuku has passed the final obstacle in seconds. Eraser, your class is amazing. What are you teaching them? Aizawa, I don't care. They got to where they are on their own. Mike, the first person to return from the obstacle course to the stadium is Midoriya. Izuku. He definitely impressed us all. I shout, making everyone in the stadium scream euphorically, while Todoroki and Katsuki also came in second and third place, breathing deeply, replenishing their energy. One by one they were arriving at the stadium. Mike, well done, everyone. Get a little rest, and then we'll start the second event. Melissa arrived at the stadium in fourth place. She couldn't stop looking at the black-haired man with some indifference. Uraka, Deku-kun. You were amazing. She also said, tired. Tsuyu, first place is great. Midoriya-chan. Izuku, thank you. You guys did well too. Midnight, alright everyone. Now that we have the 42 participants, let's move on to the second event. Those who didn't make it, don't worry. You'll also have your chances to shine. Said, licking her lips. Midnight, let's see what the second event will be. A roulette wheel began to spin behind Midnight and stopped at the cavalry battles. Midnight explained that they could form teams of 2 to 4 people. Each place in the race would have an assigned value, and depending on how the teams are formed, the points would be added. Izuku's value for coming in first place would be 10 million, and all eyes were fixed on him, and he remained the same without giving it importance. Midnight, you have 15 minutes to form your teams. Now, line up. He said, whipping his whip and then starting to run the time on the clock, so everyone began to look for their companions, avoiding Izuku at all costs. Many from Class A went with Bakugo. Izuku, my value is 10 million. No one will want to team up with me. They'll all come straight to me. I need at least one person to participate, thought quickly. Izuku, hey Ojiro. He said to the blonde with a tail, but he walked away. Ojiro, sorry Midoriya-kun. Izuku, I knew it. I'll be the target of every team. Now what do I do? Tsuyu, Midoriya-chan. She said, drawing his attention. Tsuyu, let me be on your team. Midoriya-chan Karo. Izuku, are you sure, Tsuyu? We'll all be targeted for my 10 million. I don't think you want to. Tsuyu, yes, I want to. I know you'll come up with something, Karo. Besides, it's not like anyone could hurt you. Izuku, good point. Midoriya-kun. A pink-haired girl shouted behind Izuku. Let me be on your team. She said, getting dangerously close to Izuku's face, which made Tsuyu a little jealous. Izuku, thank you, Hatsume. But closeness isn't necessary. May, come on, don't be bitter. We're friends, right? She said without moving away from his face. Tsuyu just watched with a strange feeling, but she knew immediately that she was jealous when she saw Hatsume hug Izuku. Izuku, why the hug? May, nothing personal, I'm just still glad I didn't kill you the first time, she said, a little blushed. Tsuyu, excuse me. Did you already know each other? She asked, hiding her jealousy. May, yeah. We met before USJ. When Midoriya-kun went to ask for a makeover of his hero suit. Flashback. We can see Izuku walking through the halls of UA with the briefcase where his hero suit was. Izuku, I have to redesign this piece of junk. Luckily there's a support course. Izuku came to a large metal door where desperate voices were heard, but he decided to knock on the door. Izuku, hello? Hatsume. That thing is about to explode and there's someone at the door. Mei, wait, power loader sensei. Izuku, out of curiosity, decided to open the door, but was greeted with a huge explosion straight to his face, along with some sharp metals that entered his eyes. The explosion sent him flying into the wall and his body lay inert on the ground as if he had died. Both people saw him and their blood froze when they saw him lying on the ground without moving. Mei, Power, Both, wah, Power, you killed him. Mei, too didn't mean to. It was an accident. Power, Hatsum, you killed someone. At Hero Academy. They won't care that it was an accident. They can put you in jail. Mei, please don't say it. What should I do? Power, calm down, Hatsum. Look. Here's what we'll do, let's get rid of the body, take all our things, leave UA, go to the airport, and escape to Mexico with new names and new professions. Izuku, excuse me. He said as if nothing had happened, leaving both of them blank. Izuku, sorry to interrupt your panic attack. But I need a makeover. But he was interrupted by a hug from Mei. Mei, you're alive. How joyful. I won't have to escape anymore. Izuku, yeah. No problem, nothing can hurt me. Anyway, I came for a hero suit remodeling. Mei's eyes lit up upon hearing that. Mei, remodeling? That's my strength. Said very close to her face. End of flashback. Mei, from there we talked about the remodeling of his suit and he explained his quirk to me, that's why he didn't die from the explosion. That's how I met Midoriya-kun. Tsuyu, I see. Karo. Izuku, well. Now that we've bored the readers with that flashback. Let's get back to the main plot. Tsuyu/Mei, what? Izuku, nothing. Okay, we're only missing one member for the battle. Midoriya. Said a girl behind Izuku, he turned around to see a black-haired girl. Yui, can I join your team? Tsuyu, you're from Class B, right? She said with a finger on her chin. Yui, hi. I want to join your team, with Midoriya I could at least make it to the third round of the festival. Izuku, first, what is your quirk? Yui, my quirk allows me to change the size of any object. He said taking a pencil out of his pocket and then making it grow until it was the size of a shovel. Yui, it only affects objects, I can't make people or living things grow. Izuku, wow. That's a very big pencil. Okay Kodai, you're in, said Ara then took the pencil. Izuku, I'm going to use this pencil. Do you have any more of those there? Yui, yes, I used some of them in the race. But they are enough. Izuku, very well. Now we must plan a strategy. Mei, simply we could escape from everything. With your quirk no one can hurt you to take your band, with my cute babies we can propel ourselves and rise, with Asui's tongue she can bring you back to the team if you get out, and with Kodai's giant pencils you can hit and defend yourself, she said quickly with a little excitement. Izuku, okay. You've said it all. That'll be our strategy. Uraka, Deku-kun. Can I be your? I didn't finish the question when I saw Izuku surrounded by girls. Izuku, sorry Uraka. We're already full. Uraka, oh. I see. No problem, I'll find another team. She said and then walked away a little depressed and jealous seeing Izuku living perfectly with 3 girls, until a blonde took him by the shoulder. Melissa, hey. Be part of my team. She said with a smile. Seconds passed and the clock reached 0. Mike, time to form your teams is over. Everyone in position. All the teams were formed, the black-haired team was Hatsum, Tsuyu, and Yui. Yui in the front and Tsuyu and Hatsum in the back. The 3 girls had jet boots built by Mei, and Izuku as the rider with a jetpack. Izuku, I'm counting on you, girls. The 3, hi. Mike, the cavalry battle begins in 3, 2, 1. Start. Once the battle started, each and every team ran to the black-haired team. Yui, everyone is coming for our points. Tsuyu, Midoriya-chan, what do we do? Izuku, execute the plan. Which is? Run away at all costs like crazy goats. Mei, I love that plan. But before he could move, his feet began to sink into the ground. Mei, are we sinking? Why are we sinking? Yui, it's because of Hononuki's quirk, she said watching her partner running towards her team. Yui, he's from my class, his quirk softens any surface. Izuku, interesting. Okay, Hatsum, take cover back there. At that, Izuku pressed a button, turning on his jetpack, as well as the girls' boots, causing the entire team to fly through the air. Toru, are they flying? Kyoka, is it allowed to use those devices? Toru, Kyoka-chan. Use your jacks and reach them. At that, Kyoka did as ordered, but Izuku used the pencil that Yui gave him to push them away. At that, Dark Shadow approached with the intention of attacking, but Izuku did the same with the pencil, making him retreat. At that, the boys landed and began to run away from the other teams. Izuku, this pencil is great as a weapon. Yui, thank you. Tetsu, Kodai. The boys watched the Class B team, Tetsu, Kendo, Hononuki, and Ibara. Tetsu, I'll take away those points even if we're friends. He said using his quirk Hononuki. Juzo, marching. He said using his quirk softening the ground, but the boys dodged him. Tetsu approached to hit Izuku, but he used the pencil as a defense. Due to the blow, the pencil was destroyed and Izuku was able to evade Tetsu's hand. Tetsu, again. Do it again. Izuku, Kodai. Yui, hi. Yui took another pencil out of her pocket and enlarged it until it was the same size, then once again dodged the soft ground of Hononuki. Tetsu, it's your turn, Ibara. Ibara, hi. Ibara used her vines on the ground trying to catch the boys. Izuku, okay, time to fly again. Izuku activated the girls' backpack and boots, but they still didn't fly away, because under Yui's foot was a purple ball. Tsuyu, is that from? Izuku, Mineta, this way Midoriya. The boys watched Shoji and Tokoyami carrying Mineta hidden in Shoji's tentacles. Mineta, we'll take that 10 million from them. Tetsu, keep dreaming. The 10 million will be ours. Tokoyami, Dark Shadow. Dark Shadow went straight towards them to attack, just like Tetsu's team along with Ibara's vines. They had them against the ropes, and Yui's foot was still stuck to the ground, making it difficult for them to take off. Izuku, hey Dark Shadow. DS, oh? Izuku, hold this. He said, throwing his pencil towards him, making him catch it, but he stepped back due to the blow. At that moment, Ibara's vines were about to catch them, but the boys finally took off, causing one of Yui's shoes to be destroyed. Mei, wow, my cute baby. Hysterical scream when she sees her boot destroyed. Izuku, sorry Hatsum, I'll make it up to you somehow. At that, a loud explosion was heard on the ground, and in a cloud of smoke the ashen blonde flew out with explosions and a maniacal smile. Izuku, Tsuyu. Hold me tight. Tsuyu, Karo. Tsuyu stretched out her tongue and tied it to Izuku's foot. Katsuki, those 10 million are too much for you. Damn phenomenon. He said, preparing a loud explosion. At that, Izuku jumped towards him with Tsuyu holding his foot and used his body as a defense, receiving the huge explosion in his chest. The smoke dissipated and Katsuki glared at Izuku. Izuku, go back to your team. Kachan. He said very seriously. Izuku pushed Katsuki and was then dragged by Sero's headband back to his team. Tsuyu did the same with her tongue, pulling Izuku back to her team. Sero, I told you to let me know when you jump. Katsuki, not yet. Let's take that 10 million from that damn nerd. Once they landed, the boys continued running, avoiding the other teams. Izuku, what a great team, well done to all the girls. The three girls blushed slightly at their leader's compliment, but then, Izuku moved to the side, dodging a gust of air. Izuku, we're being attacked by team after team. The boys watched in front of them a team made up of three girls, two blondes and a brunette, whose rider pointed her fingers at Izuku while generating golden rays. Melissa, the band, and I don't want any tricks. She said quite threateningly. Izuku, you can come and tear it out of my thick head. Blonde. Melissa, Uraka-san. He's in your class. What's his gift? Uraka, you'd better find out for yourself. Because if I tell you, you won't believe me. Melissa, Go ahead. The three girls ran towards them while they were alert. Melissa, we'll take that band. Tsunatori-san. Pony, yes. Let's go Horn Canyon. I said, and then shot his horns at them 3 times in a row. Pony, take this. Izuku's team nimbly dodged the girls' horns, but they quickly returned to them. Meanwhile, Melissa pointed at them with her finger while her rays grew larger. Melissa, one for all, full cowling 8%. As the boys continued to dodge the flying horns. Yui, Tsunatori can control his horns at will once he fires them. It's hard to get rid of them. Izuku, it's not for someone with a pencil the size of a bat. He said, preparing the pencil. At that, the 3 pairs of horns plummeted down towards Izuku. Izuku, take this, foreigner. He said and then hit the horns with his pencil, making them shoot out towards his team. Melissa, 8% Delaware smash. He shouted and then fired a strong air blast that hit Izuku square in the face, and the girls covered themselves from the blow. Uraka, wow. Your quirk is very strong, Melissa-san. Melissa, now that he's hurt, let's go for the band. The 3 girls ran towards them, but Izuku walked away from the attack as if nothing had happened, leaving Melissa impressed. Izuku, who do you say is hurt? Melissa, impossible. I attacked him with 8%, it's not the same strength as Uncle Mite's, but he should at least be a little hurt. Both teams started running towards each other. Izuku didn't want any more points, he just wanted to get rid of them. Melissa pointed her finger towards him again. Uraka, that won't work, Melissa-san, none of your hits, no matter how strong they are, will hurt Deku-kun. Melissa, what do you say? Uraka, it's because of Deku-kun's quirk. His quirk makes him completely immune to pain, he also can't be hurt or affected by quirks. Deku-kun is indestructible. He said, leaving the 2 girls completely stunned. Pony, wow. That Don is very incredible. Melissa was impressed, but still quite determined, kept running towards them, pointing her finger at the. Melissa, it doesn't matter. We'll get that 10 million even if I have to break all my fingers. Melissa's finger began to glow with red marks. She was about to launch her best attack at 100%, but, from 1 second to the next, she changed the direction of the attack. Melissa, smash. Screams, launching an incredible air punch that completely destroyed a wall of ice. To one side of these was Todoroki's team, freezing the ground around Izuku. Todoroki, look for another foreign team. He's mine. He said, staring at Izuku. Izuku, Todoroki. Tsuyu, Todoroki-chan. Zhu said, a little terrified. Todoroki created an ice barrier around them. Melissa and her team managed to save themselves. She suddenly let out a painful gasp, since she used all her 100% in that blow, and her finger was shattered. Uraka, Melissa-san, what happened to your finger? Melissa, it's nothing, I'm fine. Let's go for more points, she said, and then ran looking for other points. Back with Izuku, they were in front of Todoroki's team, who froze the floor, trapping the other teams around it. Tsuyu, Midoriya-chan, what do we do? Izuku, well, let's fly. He said, pressing the button, but the backpack didn't turn on. May, no baby, hold on a little longer. Todoroki devised a plan to electrocute the other teams with Kaminari except his own with the help of Yaoyorozu. The latter created a metal bar for Todoroki which he used to freeze the ground, trying to trap Izuku's team, but he dodged it and they ran away from the ice. Ida, Todoroki-kun, we won't be able to defeat them from a distance, we must get closer to take off their band. Todoroki, with that pencil in his hand, he's a pain. Izuku continued running away from Todoroki and they followed him closely on his heels. May, they won't leave us alone, Midoriya-kun, do something. Izuku, we don't need to fight. I just have to take care of these 10 million and we'll pass. Ida, Todoroki-kun. I'll have to use my secret strategy. Todoroki, what? Ida, it's a skill that no one knows. I'll use it this time. I'll help you defeat Midoriya-kun. Todoroki, Ida. I'm counting on you. Izuku just watched his team with great seriousness. He knew they had something on their hands. At that, Ida's turbines ignited in large pulses of blue fire. Ida, make sure you take the Todoroki-kun band. Ida, take over, Recipro burst. He shouted, and then his entire team propelled themselves almost at the speed of light, surpassing Izuku's team in seconds. Todoroki grabbed something with his hand, but because of the speed he couldn't see what it was. Todoroki, Ida. What was that? Ida, it's a secret skill that gives me incredible speed. However, I can't use Recipro for a long time. Did you take the band? Todoroki, yes. I have it. He didn't finish his sentence when he saw that what he had in his hand was Izuku's pencil and that the band was still on his forehead. With the same expression, he was moving away from them. Izuku, did you think I was going to let you take the sash? I anticipated Ida having a skill like that. So I used that pencil as a defense so you'd take it instead of my sash. How naive. Kaminari, don't be a jerk. You're a smart son of a bitch. Todoroki couldn't get over his shock at seeing Izuku walk away even with the 10 million, but in a moment of desperation Todoroki lit his left hand. Todoroki, come back here. Midoriya. Izuku turned his gaze and saw Todoroki charging a great power of fire, then launching an incredible flame towards him, but Izuku defended himself only with his hand blocking all the fire, but as soon as he received the fire Izuku threw a punch creating a burst of fire with twice the power that went directly towards them managing to dodge it, but both they and their team were totally impressed. Mike, wow. Midoriya reversed Todoroki's attack. How did he do it? I have no idea. Ida, what was that? Kaminari, didn't his quirk make him indestructible? Todoroki remained in complete shock without moving. Todoroki, how? How did he do it? As Izuku's team continued running, he watched his hand with which he threw the fire. Izuku, how the hell did I do that? Izuku was as impressed as the others, it was the first time something like this had happened. That was amazing Midoriya-kun. How did you do? Izuku, it just happened, let's continue. Kodai, do you have any more pencils? Yui, no, sorry Midoriya-kun. That was the last one. Izuku, TSK. That's too bad. Well, at least we still have our 10 million. But then, a loud explosion was heard. Katsuki, Deku. Izuku, here we go again. Suyu, Karo. Katsuki came flying towards them with explosions and Izuku jumped towards him again receiving a full explosion in his chest, but instantly Izuku hit him that returned the explosion with double the power, leaving the Muslim quite injured and again, leaving everyone who saw impressed. Katsuki was attracted to his team with the help of Sero and Izuku also bite Tsuyu's tongue. Izuku, again? I returned his blast. What's happening to me? Mike, once again Midoriya has reversed his opponent's attack. How does Eraser do it? Aizawa, how would I know? I thought his quirk only made him indestructible. Kirishima, Katsu bro. What was that? Why did you make another explosion? Katsuki, it wasn't me, idiot. I don't know what or how the hell he did it. But that bastard returned my blast with even more force. Sero, what? And how did he do it? Katsuki, what did I just say, idiot? I don't know. Anyway. Let's go get that damn 10 million. Izuku continued running with the girls but in that, they were completely cornered by a wall of ice. Izuku, not again. Todoroki cornered them with a huge wall of ice that had no entrance or exit. Todoroki, we'll take that 10 million. Izuku, why do you want them if with the points they already have they will advance to the third round? Todoroki, it's not about the competition. At that, Todoroki started freezing the ground with a metal rod from Yaoirozu. Todoroki, it's about defeating you and I assure you I will. Mike, Team Todoroki has Team Midoriya on the ropes. Can they take that 10 million away from them in this last minute? Izuku, last minute? Ida, only 1 minute left Todoroki-kun. Todoroki, it's more than enough to take away his band. Todoroki continued freezing the ground trying to catch them, but they dodged the ice as best they could, since they didn't have much space. On the other side of the ice wall, an explosion came out from an ash-blonde man. Katsuki, the 10 million Deku. Katsuki was approaching his team with explosions very quickly, while Todoroki continued freezing the ground around them. Izuku's team was completely finished, they couldn't dodge and they couldn't fly, so they had no choice but to stay completely still. Until Mike, time up. Time's up. Todoroki stopped using ice and Katsuki fell to the ground like a rag doll. Izuku's team was totally relieved, Todoroki looked frustrated. Ida, Todoroki-kun. Okay, we'll move on to the third round even without the 10 million. Todoroki, I don't care about the 10 million or the third round anymore. It's not about that. Todoroki looked at his left hand and then clenched his fist in frustration. Izuku, thank you so much for your help girls. Without you I would have been lost, you are a wonderful team. The three girls smiled and blushed at Izuku's compliment. Suyu, Karo she said blushing. And you were an excellent leader Midoriya-kun. Yui, your gift is truly extraordinary. She said with a small smile. Izuku, yes. Mike, now let's see the qualified teams. First place, Team Midoriya. Second place, Team Todoroki. Third place, Team Bakugo. And finally fourth place, Team Melissa. Kirishima, well. At least we made it to the third round. Sero, But he doesn't seem to like it very much. Katsuki, damn it. He said, hitting the ground. Uraka, thanks for putting me on your team, Melissa-san. Melissa, you're welcome, let's try harder in the third round. Pony, yes. P. Mike, these 4 teams will move on to the third round. Let's take a little break before we start. All the students began to leave the stadium to go to lunch and rest. Todoroki was looking for the black-haired man, but he couldn't find him. Todoroki, where did Midoriya go? May, I heard he was going to the infirmary. Tsuyu, that's weird. Why would someone indestructible need to go to the infirmary? I asked with a finger on her chin. Izuku stood in front of the school infirmary door, undecided whether to enter or not, until he simply opened the door. Izuku, hello. I need a checkup.